So I have a very unpopular take with the midfield in general. I think aside from Jack and Quinn, everybody else is battling and nobody's should be guaranteed 90 minutes.
Okay.
So
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think between what I would love to see, I think is Ali Bedoya, Leon Flock, because Leon's still working back from injury, Ali being older, Jesus having potential, and Jose, I think, is struggling. Like, I've been saying this for a little while now, but I think Jakob and Jose are the two guys that I feel like are struggling because you know what you should get from them, and you're not getting that. So I honestly feel like those four, I'd kind of had them on a rotation, like 60-30. I don't know about 45-45, or you play half a game, but I'm rotating them until somebody shows me that they deserve more, because I don't think any of them are giving you, like, Ali is solid, great, veteran, obviously. He's just limited in knowing that, like, in a full season, you can't count on him every game for 90 minutes because he is older. But I think, to be honest, Jose is running into that. And I feel like what the issue is for Jose and Jakob, I think they're trying to do too much. Like, I think, and Jack Elliott's getting caught sometimes in between as well. I don't know if it's his push to score and even obviously to win games, but I feel like they're getting caught in some uncharacteristic plays, runs that I'm like, where did this come from? We've never seen this from you. And Jakob is a step slower, and so is Jose, that there's times that they're getting just outrun. They're getting beat to the 50-50 ball.
Long-term this season, should we be concerned about them?
I'm a little concerned, to be honest. I'm a little concerned. Yeah, I know Jillian's saying that she feels like Jose is struggling a little bit as well, and how maybe some injury. Definitely probably the best that Jack came in for him on Saturday. Yeah, it does feel like there's, as we know, Jakob had the injury and the surgery last year for the sports hernia. Jose gets injured all the time. He unfortunately struggles to stay healthy. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not feeling 100%.
It's valid. It's valid to ask because I know we forget, but like they are getting a little older.
They're older.
You know,
they're the 30 plus. Well, Jose, I forget his age actually.
And again, back to like the whole running it back conversation. These guys have played a lot of soccer over these past 3 seasons too. Like that's the thing. Like we make the joke about running it back, but it's because like these guys have played a lot of soccer these past 3 years. They're obviously not getting any younger as well. They're both in their late 20s. We all know how the sport can work. So it is definitely valid things to kind of bring up here. I mean, it's just tough with this midfield because I do think Jesus obviously played really well last year, but I don't know if he's done enough to get into that starting lineup. But even to the point too, like I hate like questioning Jim, but like if it were any other player, like what you brought up with El Brujo Martinez, like that's extremely valid. So like why is he starting, right? He's not playing well. I feel like Jim feels like at any moment El Brujo's going to be El Brujo. But that same line of thinking hasn't happened for guys like Andres Pereira or Joaquin Torres. Like these are different examples that we're just talking about. But like that's why like I just don't understand that line of thinking. Like you show me what you got in training, you show me what you got in the matches too, and that's how you determine your playing time. But like El Brujo's not playing well. I don't know how he's in training, but he's not playing well in the match. So it's interesting the way that thinking works.
Well, Jose is 29, and Jakob did just turn 30. I knew he had a birthday recently in March. But more importantly, in soccer years, the mileage that's on the tank is really high for both of them. So in addition to them possibly just not being 100%, not being fully fit, it could even be an endurance thing, to be honest. I also just feel like this is where it gets problematic to run it back. Other teams are bringing in fresh legs, hungry guys. Someone like Andres Pereira goes to NYCFC determined to show, I should have been getting more minutes. He's been learning, he's been watching, he's been training with the union over the years, but not getting the opportunity. He's now getting the opportunity. He's making the most of it. And even just hearing, as we were talking with Christian Polanco about their group, guys like Kevin O'Toole, they have so many young players that are really taking that next step. The union have that. Jack McGlynn, Nate Harriel, Quinn Sullivan. But when you think about it, it's not enough. That back line especially has been the same group year after year. And it's getting a little bit stale and predictable that I think other teams have their number. They know that they've got the film out on them. They know they've got the playbook and know how to beat them. And I think they're just getting exposed because you've got so much talent across the league that is determined to prove like, oh, Jakob Glesnes, you were Defensive Player of the Year. I'm going to beat you. And that hunger and that fire it doesn't feel the same for them. You know, I feel like they're kind of getting caught at times, ball watching, going through the motions, or just trying to do too much. So that's why I like Damian Lowe back there. I think he does make sometimes some mistakes that are questionable, but he's got the pace, and I think he just plays with a little bit more intensity and energy. And Jakob's given. Let's not forget the goals that Jakob has absolutely caused and given up. Or even when you look back on it, he's the final guy. Now it's not all on him; it gets through the whole team. But
you're 100% right. And this is in every sport, right? Every year is different. You have to have a different type of, even like the champions of the league prior, you have to have a different type of game plan every single year. That's why, like, when we were doing the offseason shows, Renee, like we were talking about it, like, as good as Kai Wagner has been, and I'm not saying Kai's been the problem with this defense, but it's just the whole chemistry. It's the whole psyche with this team. Getting in fresh faces, some fresh blood every single season bodes very well. Having Ali back is not hurting. Ali has been a great leader on the bench. And also, too, I mean, like, when he's in there, he brings you that fire. He brings you that energy. So that was fine. But, like, throwing a different type of wrench into that team is something I definitely wanted. Now, again, Kai hasn't been the main problem. But when you're talking about these type of issues of running it back, you need some fresh blood. And they just don't have that right now. So we'll see how this plays out. You know, overall, as we move on here to Charlotte, listen, this is a good win like I talked about, but I still think there's a lot more work to be done here, Renee. And there were some things, like, they got lucky that they ran into a New England side that's a mess right now. It seems like it's a mess right now. But we'll see how they move forward. They have another Charlotte team that, you know, they're kind of in a weird spot too. That we don't know where their season is going to go. And we'll see if the Union can continue on. Maybe we get another winning streak going. You know, maybe we get a 6-game winning streak and we forget about this moment here and everyone's give him a 5-year contract, such as the whole starting 11.
It went from an unbeaten streak to a winless streak very fast.
God.
And as Jim mentioned, one of those streaks that they are now trying to snap is the fact that they dropped the last 4 home games. The Union, as Jim was saying post-game, despite the excitement of winning against New England on the road, still frustrating and even possibly causing him to lose some sleep over the fact that, you know, this team has not been able to do well at home.
Us too, Jim.
And that's a big goal for them to get back in the win column at Subaru Park, because to make club history in all the wrong ways of 4 straight losses at home is not good.